Hello friends, we are here once again to discuss neuro-linguistic programming with 4 pillars. We have discussed in detail what is neuro-linguistic programming. Today it is the high time to know about 4 pillars because these 4 pillars are very important to get the real gist of neuro-linguistic programming. What are these 4 pillars? 4 pillars. The first of the 4 pillars is outcome orientation, or put another way, what do you want? One way to discover what you want is to go into the future and look back at your life achievements. Then you have figured out what you want. Ask yourself the following question: what will that do for you? When do you want it? And where do you want it? Now, this is the 4 pillars in which we have rapport, sensory equipment, and then outcome thinking, and then behavioral flexibility. So, if we discuss the outcome orientation based on all these 4 pillars, very important, because such questions, what will that do for you, when do you want it, and where do you want it, it depends on several things. So, let us think what could be about, with whom do you want it, conversely when do you not want it, where do you not want it, what do you get out of your present behavior that you wish to preserve. These questions are elements of a well-formed outcome. That is why it is said that neuro-linguistic programming is self-discovery program. To know yourself, because sometimes it happens that you do a thing without your willingness and naturally the result is not up to the mark. So it is very important to know your own self while pursuing any task. So the main principles in NLP 4 pillars are used as foundations for assessing and responding to behavior. So all the 4 pillars, whether it is rapport, sensory equity, and then outcome, and then behavioral flexibility, these 4 are together to respond to your behavior, and the first and foremost is relationship. Even relationship with your own self, specifically that quality relationship of mutual trust and responsiveness known as rapport. So it can be applied both to your relationship with yourself and your relationship with other. That is why it is always advisable that first you love yourself, first you respect yourself, first you try to know yourself, then only you will be in a position to know other. So if we see rapport out of these 4 pillars, it is very important. Maybe this is the soul of the 4 pillars of neuro-linguistic technique or program. So you have probably felt torn between 2 courses of action at some time in your life. It happens. Even while taking decision, sometimes we are forced to think to be or not to be. That is the question. Which way we should move? Have you ever heard yourself say things like, part of me wants to do this, but something stops me? Yes, very common saying that I wanted to do something, but something stops me from within. So the greater the degree of physical rapport you have with yourself, the greater your health and well-being, for the different parts of your body are working well with each other. The greater your mental rapport with yourself, the more you feel at peace with yourself, for the different parts of your mind are united. So the sequencing of body and mind is as important as taking breath and eating food. So rapport at the spiritual level can manifest as a sense of belonging to a larger whole, beyond individual identity and knowing our place in creation. I mean, these days, I referred earlier also that these days this term is schizophrenia. Split personality is very much in fashion. What is this? That the 2 personality, split personality, you don't know your personality. Now, if you have rapport with the 2 split personality, you can work together. So it is a spiritual level that can manifest as a sense of belonging to a larger whole, that is your soul also. So there are many who have all the external trappiness of success yet are unhappy within themselves. I mean, in the present scenario, maximum cases are like this: money, power, position, but still unhappy. So you may have noticed that such people make others uneasy too. Now a sense of depression that try to make other also unhappy. We seem to arrange the world in a way that reflects our internal state. Yes, if you are sad, the entire world appear to be sad. If you are happy, the entire world appear to be happy. So this is a very, common thing and very logical thing. So internal conflicts create external ones, and the quality of the rapport we have with ourselves is often as a mirror of what we achieve with others. It is a kind of mirror. You look into the mirror. If you are sad, your face will be droop. If you are happy, your face will be charming. So it is the mirror, and you are looking into the mirror of your soul, mirror of your heart. That is NLP. That is rapport. So the first pillar is rapport. We all know this is one of the most important aspect of NLP. When you are building a relationship with others and yourself, you want to build rapport. So it teaches us great techniques that we can use to quickly gain rapport with individuals who we deal with at work, in our day-to-day family life, or a stranger we come across who we want to build rapport with quickly and easily. So it is important not only for personal life, professional life, but at large with the world. So success is really based on good communication skills and trusting relationship. I told you in the previous discussion that we get success how? When we have a command over expression, command over language. Because you have quality, potential, but if you fail to express yourself, well, you can't achieve the target. So the secret of developing such relationship comes down to rapport, pronounced rapport. Rapport is something which happens naturally, and when we meet new people, sometimes we just seem to click, whereas at other times we just don't seem to get along at all. Yes, that is rapport. Building a bridge. So rapport is a skill which can be developed by using our sensor acuity. 4 pillars. So rapport, sensor acuity, to read other people and to adjust our approach or our level of communication if necessary in order to achieve the desired outcome. Having similar ideas, using similar speech pattern, agreeing with and acting similarly to other people helps us to develop a stronger rapport with them, and these are all techniques which are taught in NLP. So sensory acuity, because we all know that rapport is important and it is good to establish a very close bond between yourself and between your body now and between others also. So how, through what are the mediums and the mode through which we establish rapport? It is sensory acuity. So the ability to perceive or experience through the lens of our own 5 senses. Yes, sensory acuity means what? 5 senses. Our smell, ear, nose, eyes and feelings. So the ability to perceive or experience through the lens of our 5 senses. So do you notice when you walk into someone's home or a new store, with what you see? The colors and decor, or do you hear music playing or people talking, or do you smell food cooking, or do you notice flowers blooming? Each of us notices different things and uses our sensors to experience life. This is a kind of antenna through which we get all feeling and vibration or sensation. So neuro-linguistic programming helps us to understand how each of us views the world and assist us in better communication. As a result of understanding how we perceive the world versus how others may perceive it, So asking questions and observing reactions, or by knowing how a person process information, help us better understand them, and hence results in better communication with them. We were talking about ecology, that is the surrounding, that is the people, the environment, the circumstances. So it is with the help of sensor acuity that we could be able to know this all circumstances and event. So sensory acuity is a very important phrase used in neuro-linguistic programming, and it deals well being more aware of everything that is going on around you, us, and everyone. Many people move through their everyday in a trance. Yes, we are so stressed in work pressure that we hardly bother that who is dying, where is accident happening, because we don't have time, really unaware of what is going on around them. So some quick exercises when we talk of sensory acuity without looking at your watch. Can you describe it? Maybe not. I mean, it happens with me. If people ask me the car number, I can't tell. I can't remember. I can't recall. I mean, how ridiculous it is that I don't know my own car number. I don't know my own mobile number. Very ridiculous. Why? Because I'm not aware of. I'm in trance, doing my daily work, in a very, in a stride manner. So without looking at your watch, can you describe it? What color is the face of the watch? Are the numbers Roman numeric or ordinary? Do you have a second hand? Does it rotate smoothly or does it glide? Is there a name written on the face? If so, is it in capitals? Yes, sometimes no, unless we pay attention, very serious attention to it. So you may look at your watch every day but not really know or take in much about it. I drive my car every day but hardly knowing that what is the exact car number. So sensor acuity is when you become aware of everything. You pay your attention very much. So practice your sensory acuity. How? Now this exercise is a two-person exercise, A and B. B's job is to observe A. To simplify the discussion, let us assume A is a male and B is a female. So A closes his eyes and thinks of someone he dislikes. While A thinks about this person, A begins at the top of his head and slowly moves his attention down his own body, noticing any physiological reaction to thinking about this person. For example, A may notice tension around his eyes. Yes, if you are in tension, it will be like this, very natural and normal. A pain in his shoulder or heavy feeling in his stomach. So there is a difference between a person who is at comfort and who is in tension. So as A is scanning his body, he tells B what he is observing. So once A finishes describing what he has observed, B tells A what she has observed. For example, she may have observed A's eyes closed tightly, a red flushing around his neck, very shallow breathing, twitching of a finger on his right hand, a change in his tone of voice or an energy pushing her away from A. So once step 3 is completed, A stretches and or looks around the room, and this is called a break state, and clears the mind of the internal representation of the person A dislike. So it is very obvious if you come to observe others that what kind of activity is going on. I mean, if you observe minutely. So A closes his eyes and repeats step 2 and 3 while thinking of someone he likes. So B break a state by stretching or looking out the window. This is a kind of break to start once again. So A may be surprised at the different internal reactions that he had between thinking of someone he dislikes and someone he likes. He may also be surprised by the reaction that he was not aware of that B described to him. So as a result of this exercise, A may discover that he really does telegraph his feelings through thought to others, even if it is an unconscious level. Very true, because we have telepathy also. Telepathy, intuition. And this is 100% fact. So A chooses one of the two people he thought about earlier and does not tell B which person it is. He closes his eyes and thinks of this person. From what she observed earlier, B tells A who A is thinking about, almost like magic. If you are thinking of your enemy, naturally that kind of facial expression will be there. And if you are thinking of your beloved one or loving one, naturally the expression will be like that. So this is sensory acuity. Now, outcome thinking is yet another important aspect of the 4 pillars of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So we are moving slowly, gradually, to the height of neuro-linguistic programming, and how these 4 pillars are important, because your entire learning attitude, if you try to acquire NLP, rests on these 4 pillars. So the third pillar is outcome thinking. This is about knowing what you want rather than what you don't want, and it provides you with tools that help you take charge of your life in order to focus on desired outcomes and hence achieve the results you want. Yes, if you controlled your desire, it helps you remove negative thoughts and belief and focus on desired goal instead. So negativity is a very bad aspect in neuro-linguistic programming. So how to remove negativity, that is very important. Now this is about knowing what you want rather than what you don't want. So NLP provides you with the tools that help you take charge of your life in order to focus on desired outcomes and hence achieve the result you want. And many of us often remain unclear on what it is that we truly desire in life, and therefore we sometimes drift from one thing to another with a level of uncertainty. What is the definition of success? How a person is being rated as a very successful person or achieving the desired goal? Because he or she has a focused kind of action. The moment you swipe from one to another, naturally that kind of concentration will be disappeared. So however, without having a clear vision of what it is we really want, we are less likely to go on to achieve or to attain those things. Clearly focusing and thinking about what it is we truly desire help us, orient our resources towards achieving it. Now how we remember God, how we want to get something from God? Complete medication, complete dedication. Now similarly, you have to also, if you want to achieve the goal, you have to be focused, be positive, be dedicated, and be soul focused on that particular aspect. So outcome can be considered to be a goal no matter how large or small. So it may be that you wish to learn to play a musical instrument and therefore a fairly small goal, or it may be that you want to become a millionaire and is therefore a very large goal. Now this particular programming, that is NLP, teaches that in order to achieve such goals, it's very important to have a clearly defined, well-formed outcome. So regularly imagining what it is like to already have those things and having those visions and desire as crystal clear as possible, it helps us to actually achieve those things. The more clearly we know what it is we want, the more likely we are to get it, and this basically comes down to something called the fundamental law of attraction. Yes, fundamental law of attraction means by force you have to look into the goal, you have to the main outcome, you have to deeply involved in the well-formed outcome. Now a wise man said, there are 2 types of people, those who set goals and those who don't. He added, the people who don't set goals end up working for those who do. Yes, This man was a very successful entrepreneur who had always has excellent sound bits. And another great saying he had was that by failing to plan, you are planning to fail. And these quotes made sense. So what is the difference between a goal and an outcome then? So by failing to plan, you are planning to fail. I mean vice versa. You are making a kind of plan that will be failed, and naturally it will be failed because it is a kind of failing planning. So the two types of people, those who have goal and those who are without goal, and naturally those who are without goal, they ended up working for those who have goals. So in some ways a goal and an outcome are similar, and in other ways they are different. A goal is very specific, measurable in the sense it can be touched and is generally linear. Generally linear, keep in mind. So an outcome is higher level. Difference between goal and outcome, higher level, multi-dimensional, and usually includes multiple small goals. In terms of creating change in your life, an outcome can be something that is not necessarily tangible in the sense it can be touched. That is, you could have an outcome to be a smoke-free or ultra-fit. The evidence criteria for the outcome is what is measured. The evidence criteria may consist of many goals. One of the many contributions NLP made to the world of personal development is utilization of outcome criteria. So how to get a perfect outcome? There is certain criteria. So what are the outcome criteria? Because if we talk of goal and outcome, so we see goal can be for a very small thing, but outcome means a very large thing for which you are trying and for which is your desired goal. So it's stated in positive terms. Again, I mean, be positive. So focusing on what is wanted is often a major shift in thinking, and many people focus on what is not wanted. Yes, I mean, what we have, we are not focusing. What we don't have, for which we are focusing, and what happened? We just move into a state of depression. So they don't want to be fat, they don't want to poor, and so on. And there is a personal development saying that you get what you focus on. Why invest time and energy dwelling on what you don't want? Create an outcome and put your attention on achieve it. Yes, I mean, you can also practice that. Why invest time and energy dwelling on what you don't want? Yes. How much money is required for a good life? If you want that, after that, what is the need of earning more money? What is the need of earning more wealth? It's the same thing, because if you fail and if you compare yourself with the other, naturally you will slip into the negative position. So other is initiated and maintained by self. To be successful, it is important to hold the reins of your own personal achievement. Yes, your personal achievement. A feeling of contentment. The outcomes you set are for you and controlled by you. You are the master of everything. So nobody else is responsible for the success or lack of it. Create outcomes where you are the instigator of the process and the catalyst at each leverage point in the outcome. Yes, you are the failure, you are the success one. So it is you, entirely you, who can judge that what is the reason behind failure and what is the reason behind success. Then a specific sensory based description of outcome, steps and evidence. Multiple description like visual, auditory, kinesthetic representation, that is VAC, generally called VAC, is a key element of NLP. The evidence processor is what will be happening when you achieve your goal. If you are sensitive to your unconscious signals, you can test the end result representation for congruency. In every language, this means, does it feel like you can actually achieve this? If there is doubt, work on the doubt. One should remove the doubt before you move ahead for getting the goal or the outcome. So, a specific sensory based description of outcome, steps and evidence very important, that is visual, auditory and kinesthetic representation. More than one way to get the outcome. I mean, we shall discuss this in detail later on, that is behavioral flexibility, but once again it is the part of outcome also. Once again it is the part of rapport also. So, once you have a strong set of congruent representation for the outcome, think of multiple ways. For achieving it, use multiple description, that is vague, visual, auditory and kinesthetic, for each different choice, and place no value judgment on the different ways you can achieve your goal. Just be highly creative. So, if you are sensitive to your unconscious single, it will provide you with feedback on the different choices you are considering. Between unconscious and conscious meditation, pick one or two choices that seem to work best. However, always be open to new choices whilst on the journey of getting the goal. Yes, be open to new choices. That is the more than one way to achieve the goal. So, first step is specific and achievable. So, this is the key for taking action. You want to initiate the first step as soon as possible. By achieving the first step, you are on the way to achieving the outcome. Now, increases choices. This is also the part of that flexibility only. To the increase of choice is key element. A fundamental premise of NLP coaching is creating more choice. A counter example is that where a hypnotic would install a revulsion for certain type of food and in doing so assist a client to reach a weight goal. So, however, this intervention has removed a choice for the client. In NLP, a part of an outcome is changing a behavior that no longer supports you. The behavior you are seeking to change remains one of many choices. So, neuro-linguistic programming, we do not take away the choice of any behavior. We give our clients the resources to make new positive choices. Of course, the positive choices, series of choices, and is ecological. So, in NLP, ecology means how the part relates to the whole system. In outcome setting, the question is how does achieving this outcome impact the integrity of the system? When an outcome is viewed with the whole system in mind, it may be established that the consequences of the outcome are negative. In this case, you would adapt the outcome. So, in terms of the whole system, the consequences are positive. If in the outcome is deemed ecological, you then attribute the appropriate level of energy at making the outcome happen. So, ecology, that is your surrounding premises, very important. So, to summarize, successful people regardless of their neuro-linguistic programming experience set outcome. The NLP outcome setting process help make an outcome more concrete as well as testing the congruency behind an outcome. A well-trained NLP coach works with client to help them to define their outcome in a congruent manner. The use of third observer position is useful in exploring the congruency and ecology of an outcome. So, when you set outcomes, you tend to get lucky and attract to you what you need to make the outcomes a reality. So, what are you waiting for? Set an example, set yourself an exciting outcome and enjoy achieving it. It is you who have to fix up an outcome that is based on the positive thinking, that is based on your personal attributes. Now, thank you very much. We are going to move on to the next lesson, that is flexibility.